Welcome back to another episode of The Underdog. Well, unfortunately, we're still dealing with the pandemic, so unfortunately, I won't be able to, have my, we won't be able to be in studio. But, here nor there, we're still in a good place. We're still coming at you with great guests. And also, I have my lovely host, Shani.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
What's going on with you? How was your weekend?
It came and it went.
Understandable.
Yeah, trying to recover. My mom was up here from Florida, so just getting everything back to normal.
Okay.
How about you? What you been up to?
I just been doing a lot of writing this week. This weekend actually. The weather wasn't too made me too happy, but you know what? I am still a champion.
I feel like I knew that was coming. I just didn't know when.
I'm still a champion.
Congrats.
Other than that, man, just here, man, just trying to get around this crazy world we in right now, which is unfortunate. I was on Instagram and I see your boy Tory Lanez out there crying again. He out there. I don't want to say making excuses, but I think
him trying to explain himself.
I think at this point, just tell what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like if stop telling us and stop making songs about what happened and this didn't really happen, this, that, and the third. Just say, you know what? Domestic violence is not cool. She was beating on me. We started struggling over the gun and went off, and she got hit by mistake, and call it a day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, whatever the story was, you got to start telling the truth, right? Because your audience gravitates towards authenticity. So the more you lie, the more we're turned off about it. I mean, say what you want about 6ix9ine. When he went out there, he was snitching, telling everything he knew, and
he owned his truth.
He owned his truth, and now he's back doing videos with Nicki Minaj, and it's like he never left.
And of course, they don't want to talk about, they don't want to say his name, but at the end of the day, you know what? Regardless of what he did, he still owns his own truth. You know what I'm saying? He called himself a snitch.
Yep.
All right, now next,
right. Still making money. So what?
At this point now, I think Tory Lanez needs to just he need to just tell the truth and get it over. Because at the end of the day, when he goes to court, they're gonna release the transcript and everything, and then we're gonna know the truth. So why not just kick that truth already? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And honestly, the sentence that they would give him if he was charged, I think it's OD. He could face up to 20-something years in prison if they convict him.
I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you, but he's a black man, right?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make it.
He's not a 16-year-old from Wisconsin that just played video games and had
just when it goes rogue, right? And they explain the mental issues and how his mom didn't give him enough hugs when he was little, and all of that hoopla they give you for those. I can't.
Oh man,
it's always OD, but what can you do?
Nothing at all at this point. All we can do is pray and hope at some point our cries are answered by someone.
Exactly. Speaking of praying, you hear what's going on in Nigeria.
Yeah, I hear it's unrest and everybody over there flipping and fighting and all the airports are closed and nobody can get out and it's always an issue over there. I pray for them over there. I hope all is well. I hope whatever, I don't want to say whatever, but I hope things get fixed.
Resolved, yeah.
At some point, because it's ugly, and we don't need this now.
Right.
And with everything going on in Corona, we don't need this going on right now.
I agree.
But shameless plug right now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button at the bottom. We need
all the views, all the subscribers.
yeah, we need some subscribers. I think
Comment, share, all that stuff they say on the nets.
yeah. Look, what is it? We point to the corner or this corner. Hit the subscribe button, or is it up here, or is it over there?
You're pointing all over the place.
Well, wherever which one corner that yours is in, hit that corner. But we have a special guest today.
We do.
I'm very excited about this one. I'm not going to do too much talking about his beginning part. I'm just going to wait for him to pop in. But he's a very good friend to the show, and I think once you see his face, you might know who he is.
I'm excited. Let's get him in.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hey! Well, hello.
My boy Scott, how you doing?
All right, man. How are you?
You
look good.
How's the family? How's everybody doing on your side?
Staying safe, not going out at all, just kind of staying in and letting the world come to us a bit.
Okay, so what are you doing as far as I'm always having an issue with going to get groceries. That's always a very big issue for me because I have a very low immune system, so I'm scared to death to go outside.
Yeah,
for me
too. I'm a bit at risk, so I go. I used to go to the grocery like once every 10 days or something and really stock up, and now we find that we can get it delivered, so we tend to do that. We don't always get the brands we want, but we get what we need, and then occasionally. Every 2 weeks, we'll go out and just get a little something, but it's such a process to get it back in the house.
Yeah,
to spray everything, and the way we do it is, I stand outside and I hold every individual piece of grocery in the doorway. It gets sprayed. It gets put on a wee pad, and it stays there for. If it's not perishable, it stays there for a few hours, and then we put it away. And then I strip naked. Wash my hands, get in the shower.
And the sad part about that is, damn it, they gave us the wrong peanut butter.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a process, but we're so used to it now that it's going to seem strange to feel safe.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Unfortunately, we're in a really, really delicate situation. You know what I'm saying? That we've been here before, but it's never attacked us in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where
I've been allowed to attack us like this.
Right.
You're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. So I wonder whose fault is that?
Could be anybody.
Yeah, could be anybody. And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. That's been talked about.
Yeah, we don't want to get banned already. So, Well,
let me tell everybody, my name is Scott ADSIT, and I was on 30 Rock with Grizz, just in case.
Yeah. Oh, just in case they don't know.
Just in case. You have fans, and they may not know who I am, so
of course
make sure
you are. And if they don't,
not necessarily,
they need to do their homework.
That's true. That's right. This is on your heads.
It's your fault. I'm the teacher. I come in, I teach, and you're supposed to just know.
That's right.
So, you're in Colombia. Your teacher comes to you and tells you that you should join Second City. And for those that don't know, Second City is a school for improvisation. It's like a school for X-Men of comedy. What were you doing at that point? What were you doing at that point where your teacher came to you and suggested that you do those things? Were you doing improv classes? Were you taking theater? What were you doing at that point?
Well, this is in college, and I'd done improv in high school, which in the 80s was not a very common thing. I don't know if I was aware of any other improv group in a high school anywhere. But the guy who ran our theater department, whose name was Murphy, he he loved Second City, and so he started doing an improv show that was made up of students, and we would perform for functions and assemblies and things like that. We could make fun of the school and everything, and make fun of the administration and the way things go, and the way the school is run, and then also social issues among the kids. And it sounds kind of dry, but it was actually very funny stuff, and that made me kind of idolize Second City, because I would go occasionally with my parents and see it. And then I was in college and I was taking acting classes, and one of them was improv, and the teacher who taught that class also taught at Second City. And so he said, you ought to come by and take our classes, in a more professional way. And so I did that, and long story short, they eventually said, would you like to work for us? And I did. And I worked at Second City in Chicago for 8 years, I think. And I toured, and then I was on various stages. And I was with some really good people too. I came up with and did shows and wrote with Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch and John Glazer and Adam McKay and Kevin Dorff and Gemma Jolovitz, and just some really great, talented people who have gone on to even bigger things now. Oh. It was a great time.
That's amazing. Like, so with all the people like you came up with, obviously you all kept in touch. Would you say it's like a great idea to always like network across versus networking up? Because I find like networking across, like you stay connected with your friends and they're like, I got a role for you, or I got this idea for you. Do you think that's like a better way to like, showcase your stuff?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to use the word network, yeah, I would use just say, be friendly to everybody and be reliable and be fun to work with, and then keep in touch, because everybody kind of gets their shot, and if they want you, then they will remember you. Yeah. I mean, Tina called me. I was doing little films and guest star stuff on TV, and I think I'd stopped doing commercials by then, but I was making a living, but I wasn't working steadily. Mm-hmm. And Tina, who I'd done 3 or 4 shows with in Chicago, and we became close. She called me up after I hadn't seen her in maybe months, and she said, "So hey, I'm thinking about making this sitcom, and I'm basing a character. I'm kind of writing a character for you, not basing it on me, thank God." But I have you in mind for this character, so would you like to do that? And I said, yes, I would. And so about a year later, we made the pilot. And I did audition, though. I had to audition for 30 Rock. And I actually auditioned against 2 people I knew who are like vastly more talented than me. But there was something loser enough in me, pathetic enough in me, that allowed me to be Pete.
And you played Pete very well, my friend.
Oh, you're very kind.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's awesome. So like with the roles, right? You said this one was designed for you, right? And then you did Agent 6, yes? With Deadpool.
Oh, Big Hero 6.
No.
Oh no! I see what you're saying. Yes, I did. There's a Agent ADSIT actually.
Yes.
In the Deadpool comic, there's a character who is a SHIELD agent.
Yes.
Very high-ranking SHIELD agent who works with Coulson and Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and then he's kind of the liaison for Deadpool, unfortunately. And his name, originally he was just Agent, and then in the first issue, and then yeah, but his face was based on mine. So the artist had drawn me as this kind of this small supporting nameless character in the first issue, and they got the pencils back and they were great, but they also said, well, wait, this is a recognizable person in the world.
Right.
So they called me up. The guys who wrote it at that time, Jerry and Brian, called me or wrote to me and said, hey, and I'm friends with them. They said, against our better judgment, our artist has drawn your face for this character. Would you mind signing a release? So I said, of course. So I signed a release. I say of course to everything, by the way. I signed a release, and that allowed them to use my likeness. And then eventually they started calling the character Agent ADSIT, which is pretty specific.
You think?
Yeah. And then eventually they were calling him Agent SCOTT ADSIT. And so the result of this is, and Grizz, you'll love this, I exist officially in the Marvel's 616 universe.
You're in you. Nice.
Yeah, but my path went a different way from acting, and I became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Listen, you're in MCU. That's all that counts.
I know.
This is,
and the upshot is I'm now, because there was a big upheaval in Marvel's. They had a big event and it changed everything. It shut down the universe. It killed everybody or something recently, a couple of years ago, and. So Jerry, who was still writing at the time, Jerry Duggan, he knew that my character would probably get killed in this crisis or whatever they're calling it. Mm-hmm. And so he threw me off Earth. He put me into space. And so Agent ADSIT is now in the Nova Corps. Okay? And he's a commander in the Nova Corps in space. And so I find myself fighting alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy, and fighting Thanos, and I'm up there with them in my little Nova suit and being comic relief. And at the same time, it's an amazing thing, Grizz, because I'm in the 616 universe, and I've already shared adventures with Deadpool and like Spider-Man. And there's a great comedian writer named Scott Aukerman, and he's a friend of mine, and he wrote a backup story for a Deadpool annual, and it was Spider-Man teaming up with Agent ADSIT. It was just the two of us against the bad guys. And there's a lot of really funny dialogue between us, and he actually says, my character says, I've always thought I might want to be an actor. I thought maybe in some other universe I'm an actor. That would be so cool. And
this right here, so, underdog moment.
Yeah, it's a very heady thing, because what it means is officially I do exist in that universe, and I do know Spider-Man.
Nice. Well, we're gonna put this in the universe right now. Marvel, if you're listening, the new Spider-Man is coming out, and bring in Agent Scott.
That's right.
Bring him in.
That is awesome. So your range of audience.
I know. It's crazy, yeah.
It's amazing. It's definitely amazing.
And then I also do this thing for Disney called Big Hero 6, which was a movie in 2014.
You see I'm standing out.
This is the thing. Yeah. I'm Baymax. I'm this big marshmallow robot that is very sweet. And we did a movie and we did a series, and we're working on a little something right now as well. So Baymax is still going, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. And it's really, if you haven't seen Big Hero 6, please go see it or rent it or whatever you want to do. Download it illegally, because it's worth it. It's worth some jail time. It's very, very funny and sweet, and it's a primo Disney movie, because there's some dead parents. Mm-hmm. And is it on Disney Plus? Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, okay. And it'll make you cry a couple times. And we won the Oscar. We won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature.
Nice.
So I will always say, go watch
Big Hero 6 at that time. Was it? I don't want to say financially life-changing, but was it just life-changing in general, as far as the attention, and did you have to go around? Did you tour? Did you
with Big Hero 6?
Yeah.
Well, for a year, yeah. For a year, it was a big thing, and I got to go to the Oscars, and we had a big, when the movie premiered, they shut down Hollywood Boulevard
Nice.
And put the red carpet out and there were thousands of fans and they had this enormous. They built a San Francisco bridge, like the Golden Gate, on the street, and then my character was flying around it, and it was a huge deal. It was very exciting.
Did you feel like that's me?
Absolutely, I still do. Every time I look at the guy. And of course, it's not just me. It's every animator. It's all the hundreds of people who work to make him. But I'm part of it, so I can say that's me, as can 1,000 other people who made him walk like a baby penguin. That guy, whoever made him walk like a baby penguin, can say that's me. Yeah.
I love it. So does that mean that you have like major Disney clout? Like, can you like just take over Disney World whenever you want? I mean, you got to have some pull.
Yes, Shawnee, I can. Here's the thing. And this is like a perk that no one should know about, but I'll tell you. If I want to go to Disneyland, I call them and say, I'd like to come in for the day. And they say, yes, sir. Okay, great. We'd love to have you. And they give me one of those guides with the vests. And they kind of guide us around and take us to the front of lines and stuff. And I got in line with my, I call her my Sherpa, but one of these guides in the vests, the plaid vests. I don't know if you've seen them taking people around at Disney. And we got in line for the Millennium Falcon ride. This is just when was it, a year ago? I don't know. But it's a very long line. And she took me right to just about the front, and we still had to wait for a little bit. And there was a family of people there, and they were like, oh, so you're jumping the line? And I said, gosh, yeah, I guess I am. And they're like, they turn to the guide and they go, why is he? What's so great about him? Why does he get to do that? And this is a family, by the way. This is not like kids spitting out the side of their mouth. This is a family. What's so great about him? And I said, I said there's nothing special. And my guide said he's Baymax. And they changed their attitude, and they were like taking pictures, and yeah. So it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to be the lead in an Oscar-winning Disney animation. If you can do it, I suggest taking it.
Did you get the actual award in the house, or replica?
No. See, I wasn't a producer on it, so I didn't get the statue, but I got to go to the awards, and we were the cast was put in the very back row. My back was against the wall at the Kodak Theater. And so we were like looking at the stage like this, couldn't make out faces or anything, but we won and we just went crazy and the camera went and found us because we were making so much noise up in the balcony. And then we just had a great party all night. And it's great. The six of us and then a couple others are just the best people, and we have such a good time together, and we still get to work together for the series. And I just the other day recorded something with Maya Rudolph, because she plays Aunt Cass in the series and in the movie, and with Ryan Potter, who plays Hero, and we just have the best time. I can't, I'd love to give you some juicy gossip about how awful showbiz is, but right now it's pretty great.
Yeah. How has it been, with the COVID and working and because I know like when we did our special, they sent out the whole box of equipment and camera equipment and all this other stuff to the house.
Yeah.
So how was? And
then we had to be the techs. We had to be the crew ourselves.
Exactly.
Did your family run everything?
That was very difficult.
Yeah. Well, I had prosthetics and special hair because Pete had the work done, so Pete was a bit stretched, and he had eye makeup. He's in a new place right now.
So you had a whole crew coming.
What's that?
You had a whole crew?
No. It was just me and Sandra did all of the work on me, and with being coached by our makeup person, Georgie. You know George?
Yeah.
And she was coaching Sandra, and so I had tape on my eyes like this that were being hidden in my hair, and then eye makeup, and I can't remember what else, but there was a bunch of stuff to do to me, and I also shaved my beard in a weird way, and then Sandra was doing the clapper, and she was doing the focus, and she was doing the lighting, and I was just sitting there.
It's amazing how they figured that out, man.
Madonna.
It really did.
It came off extremely well.
Yeah, it did. It came out pretty good.
Yeah,
it came out pretty good.
And so I've done a few things from home, but I have right now. I have 4 voiceover jobs. So I do that here with I convert my closet into a fort with blankets and pillows, so it's soundproof. And I go in there and I record on like GarageBand and then send it to Disney or to Netflix, and so it's a different world. But I'm very lucky because there are a lot of actors who don't have that facility and don't have voiceover jobs. Yeah, that's what's keeping me afloat right now. Is just my voice. And I've had some offers and some auditions to go for, and I've had to turn them down because I'm not going to leave the house and go to, film somewhere. Not yet. Yeah, especially now that we're heading into the new wave,
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I've been a little nervous to go out. So how did you get into voiceovers?
Well, I did a show on Adult Swim. A friend of mine created. A guy named Dino Stamatopoulos created a show called Moral Oral, which is a stop motion animation show that looks kind of like Davy and Goliath and feels kind of like Leave It to Beaver, but it's also really twisted and dark and true. And it's about hypocrisy and how it kind of filters down to us through religion. And so it's a take on religious hypocrisy essentially, and very Adult Swim, but also very sweet. And so Dino created this. He said, help me create this. And so I designed characters and I wrote some scripts. And then when we were casting it, he made me a few voices, luckily. And they went pretty well. And my voiceover agent kind of sat up and took notice when that started happening. And I got what do you call it? I got a nomination for an Annie Award for Moral Oral for my voice, and which is an animation award, and so that led to other jobs and some voiceovers, and now I get a lot of auditions for cartoons and things, most of which just go right past and don't like me, but occasionally I'll get something, and I've got 4 right now, so that's nice.
Well, occasionally
it was Dino that got me into it.
So that was a good one. What made you guys go in the claymation direction?
Well, Dino had created Moral Oral to be a marionette show.
Okay.
And at that time, I think Team America was about to come out when he was starting that. So he didn't want to seem like a copycat. And so he knew he didn't want it to be cell animation or what do they call it? Computer animation of some kind. And so he thought claymation would be cool, and it really is. It's such a cool thing to walk into an animation studio, and there are all these toys that they're moving around, and it's a toy shop that they're playing with and animating, and so that was just really seductive to me and my love of things like that. And so then as a producer, I got to be part of how that works and the creative aspect of all of that. I even got to animate one sequence myself, which was totally beyond my capabilities, because the animators who do stop motion are so amazing, because they get into their little booth and they move those puppets around. And they have to, like, if a puppet wants to take a step, that's like 20 frames, and you have to screw down the foot to start with, so it's stable, and then move this foot over the course of about an hour, and then put it down, and then go underneath the platform and screw into that foot, unscrew the other foot so it can then start walking. And the people who do this are great artists, and they go in there and they get into a different time sphere, and they focus so much on they're working in two different time streams. One is very slow, and it's this, and in their mind it's walking like this.
Wow.
And then they've got the real world as well, so they kind of like focus just on that other world where everything is moving at a different rate, and that's just where they are. They've shifted out of our universe, and they're just concentrating on that time. And you go in and you go like peek in and move the curtain aside into the little area and go, "Hey, how's it going? Are you done with the shot yet?" And they will go like this. I'll go, yeah, and it's like the Earth then starts to slow down or speed up or whatever, and just comes back into the correct
and then they're looking at you like
rhythm, and then they're like, "Oh, then they can talk to you."
So that actually works for you with Comic-Con though, right? Like, are you able to use a lot of these characters and a lot of these a lot of these things that you've done? Can you bring this stuff to Comic-Con and sell, and are you able to do that?
Well, I don't do that very much. I love going to Comic-Cons, and I was going to them before I was involved in genre. But now I get invited to Comic-Cons, and I'll go and hang out with a bunch of friends in the Artist Alley. And then I'll go do panels, and I'll do signings. I don't sell anything. I've got pictures, and I've got Baymax stuff, Baymax pictures to sign, and headshots of me if they want them, for me to sign. But I don't. At least not yet. I don't charge anything. I tried it one year in Atlanta. I think I tried charging. It still does not.
It don't feel right. So it don't feel right.
Yeah. I mean, I understand all of that. I understand doing it, and I understand the need to charge, and I understand that completely. It's just for me. I'd rather just say hi, and if they brought something for me to sign, that's great. If they want a picture, fantastic. But I'm not at this point, and I'm just not interested in charging.
I kind of felt when I had my booth there, I felt better selling other stuff, like T-shirts, like stuff like this, like these type of T-shirts. And,
yeah,
I mean, you've been to my booth before. I rather sell that stuff. It makes me feel better selling hats and stuff like that, opposed to me sitting there with Grizz talking about,
It's weird to sell yourself.
Exactly. It really is. I wound up giving. I bought some stuff, and I wound up giving everything away and just taking pictures. Like, I don't see myself saying, "Hey, you want a picture? All right, $20." Like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not. I just like meeting people. I might like meeting the fans, and it's nice to know people are happy to meet me, and that just makes me feel good. So it feels weird to say, "Oh, so nice to talk to you." $40.
Yeah.
So I haven't done it yet. I'm sure I will eventually, but right now, I'm happy not to.
You'll definitely get it off of Big Hero, because just like I met Mario Brothers, and the guy who does the Mario voice, and he cleans up doing that.
I bet. Well, Big Hero 6 came out in 2014, so it's been 6 years of this, and I still, I mean, nobody's coming to meet me because I played Pete at Comic-Con. I'm not quite as iconic, I think, as you and .com, but seriously. But Baymax is something people connect to, and so they do line up for that, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very, very happy to meet them. The little kids and adults and people come dressed as Baymax and all that. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's sad though that we won't get Comic-Con this year. It felt weird because around October 20th, I'm getting stuff ready. I'm getting T-shirts ready. I'm getting hats. I'm getting all this stuff ready. The grapes, going back and forth, setting up the booth, and it just felt weird this year not being able to do it. And then, their fix to the problem was sit in front of your computer and then watch. So it didn't feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we got some exclusive content. You know what I mean, from some of the stuff that they showed, but that Thursday morning when you're sitting there in your booth and you're waiting for the people to come in, that's like the most exciting part of it. Just watching the rush of the people come in. You know what I mean? And I think the last one we did, or the year before that, was like almost 120,000 people. So in the course of that 4 days, so it was like I miss that so much. I just regular stuff, like even just going to the movies. It's not the same no more. I can't even, like, when Black Widow comes out, I can't. Me and my 20 nerd friends can't even go to the movies now and see it.
I know. And it's going to be a while. Depending on who gets elected, it'll be quite a while.
Yeah.
That part.
But I did do a virtual panel.
He's the forefront.
That's right. I did a virtual panel for Big Hero 6 the series with the cast for New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And that was fun, but it wasn't like being there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the most exciting things, Grizz, was for Big Hero 6, Disney had two big things to promote that year at Comic-Con, and it was us and Tomorrowland, the George Clooney movie.
Yeah.
And so they filled Hall H, which is the biggest venue they have at Comic-Con. And it was like, 4,000 people in one room. And we were up on stage. It was really crazy because I'd been in that line before for Hall H in past years, and you kind of wait all day. You kind of forego your day to get into one panel.
Yeah.
And then I was on stage, and it was very, very amazing.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that we're here now, and all we have to do is reminisce. My God. That's what we got. Yeah. So our time on 30 Rock, 7 years. We did a lot of episodes. What were some of your? Because I know the fans will kill me if I don't touch on 30 Rock.
Yeah.
What was some of your favorite moments on the Rock? Be it being a dressing room episode, or just something exclusive that you can tell the fans, because they're looking for something juicy.
I can tell you the moment that I got the stamp of approval from Tracy early on. Tracy. Well, I must say Jordan. Tracy Morgan loves to kind of hold court and be funny and kind of charm the room and quote movies and sing songs. And
backup singer.
That's right. And he's always entertaining. And we had known each other just a little while, and he was quoting The Color Purple to some people in the room, and he looked at me, and he kind of gave me this, and he said, "You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?" And I came back with, "It's gonna rain on your head." And he started laughing, and he said, "All right, okay, you're good. So we were friends from then.
You're invited to the barbecue now, Pete.
Yeah. And I will always love. There's a moment I think in season 1, if you're just talking about one of my favorite things on screen, it was Paul Rubens playing the Prince, who was all twisted up, and Jane was dancing for him, and he was throwing out different dances for her to do, and she was dancing each one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he was improvising, and so she had to improvise her dancing, and it was all very funny. I always thought that was really funny.
That's hilarious.
Was improv like something that was encouraged while on the set, or was it mostly like, okay, that was funny, but please stick to the script? Like,
it's both. It was both.
Definitely both.
Because I mean the writers were so brilliant,
right?
Without exception, and they would craft this amazing, this object, this beautiful merry-go-round of an episode that every horse is painted and every little bridle is just right, and then the actors come on and go, think we got a better idea, so I'll just try something new, and no one ever said don't do that. But the fact that each episode had to be like 22 minutes, and we would shoot about 30 minutes.
Right.
That meant that about 8 minutes were going to have to be taken out in editing.
Right.
And the writers crafted every single moment of the show, and the producers want that to be the show, and the director wants that to be the show. And so when we're improvising, it would have to be pretty special to survive the edit when they're taking 8 minutes of their babies out already.
Right.
And so it does happen occasionally, and it generally would be, for me anyway, I don't know for you, Grizz, but for me it was generally the beginning of a scene or the end of a scene, because that's the easiest way to cut it out. But we could go into a scene saying something funny or improvising something, and then after the scene is done, we will maybe find a way to get out of it in a funny way, and sometimes that would survive. But generally, the lines were as written. Pretty much.
I mean, for us, one particular episode, we were doing, we were in our dressing room, and for this particular day, I don't know why, but we just couldn't stop laughing, and Tracy just, you know how he is, he takes that and he goes with it. So we spent about a good 20 minutes trying to do the lines, trying to, get through it. We're laughing. And then after we did all that, it was like, okay, now say this. Say it the way we told you to say it.
Yeah. All right, we got your version. Let's try ours.
So we went right back to the script.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it'll be like this. Shawnee, it'll be like you start improvising right away, and you do it a bunch of times your way, and you think you're doing really well, and they're all laughing and saying, "Great, great, great!" And then the director, like, tell you what, not that. Let's do one where it's just like the script. So you do the script version, and then it's like, okay, moving on. We're gonna get to the next scene now. You know that's the only thing they use.
Well, one of the things that I like, it's a small detail, but I laughed every time, was the guy, I don't know the actor's name, I'm sorry, but he would wear the trucker hats, and every week he said something different. Miracle every time. Did you ever know what hat he was going to wear, or it was always a surprise for you too?
Always a surprise.
His dressing room was right next to mine, and I would go into to talk with him and stuff and hang out, and his floor would be covered in cutout letters and a few hats, because every time you see something on his hat, he's written it. It's not that didn't come from the script.
Yeah,
his input for the show, and so every single time you see something on it, it's all comes from Judah's dressing room, and all these cutout letters he's got all over the floor.
And sometimes he doesn't even know what he's going to put right before we shoot. And he'll be like, what am I going to put? And then he'll just come up with something out of nowhere, and it just be.
Oh, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Judah's a genius. If you get a chance to see Judah live or on Zoom at some Zoom concert in the next year, definitely do it. Judah is unique. He's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So what I want to touch on, because I don't want to keep you too long, I want to touch on one more thing. The improv with you and Lutz, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys are still doing the improvisation shows, or over online, or is over now?
Well, we were doing it once a week for a while, and then we both got busy after a couple of years, and we were doing it once a month, and that's been for the past maybe 10 years. And it's me and John Lutz, who played Lutz on 30 Rock, and we just do a 2-man improv show for about 50 minutes to an hour, depending, at the UCB. And since COVID, the UCB has shut down in New York. It's not there anymore. And we discussed it, but we didn't see a lot of joy in doing improv on Zoom. On Zoom. At least for us, because we're generally pretty physical people.
Yeah.
And so we haven't had the itch to do it without an audience quite yet.
And
so no, we're not doing it.
Probably doesn't play the same way too, because you guys. Let me tell you something about you two guys. You two guys are incredible when it comes to that stuff. Like so quick with it, quick minded. Just I was watching one the other day, and it was about Lutz going on a date, and then the way you guys transformed between him being the woman, and then going back to the conversation that you guys are sitting in the living room with each other, and then going right back to the date, and then going right back to the living room, was amazing. And then when you were sticking your head in the window talking about getting dressed.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's online, is it?
Oh yeah, walk towards the cheese.
Also, I don't remember that. I don't remember anything I've ever done, but I don't remember much of that. I'll look it up. I think that was at the Just for Laughs festival or something.
Oh,
right?
Hilarious, man. Lastly, for that person who feels that they're underdog, they're sitting at home, they have a whole bunch of ideas, but they're scared, they're afraid, people are closing doors in their faces. And do you have any advice for the underdog that's sitting home watching us right now?
I would say get seen. Whatever it is you do, people got to know you do it. And the best way to do that, my advice to actors is just find a way to get on stage and get in front of an audience doing anything, just so they can see you, just so you can get experience. And an actor acts. And so if you want to be an actor, you find a way to get in front of an audience. And I think that's the same for anybody. If you want to do something, you've got to find a venue to do it. And you got to be willing to starve to do it too.
You got to be willing to starve.
Yeah, you got to be. It's like I want to be a wrestler, but I may not make it as a wrestler. But trying to be a wrestler is what I want to be. And then if I make it as a wrestler, that's gravy. But are you going to enjoy the life of pursuing wrestling? And if you're willing to starve for that and not have anything to fall back on, then lean into it and do it. But practical advice, I would say you have to let the world know you do what you do.
Definitely understand.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Scott, for this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming to our little humble show. I appreciate this so much, man. And where can the fans find you if they want to look for you?
I don't know, Facebook. I'm not on Twitter or Instagram or anything.
Well, you got to get
There might be something on Facebook.
You got to be seen, Scott.
You're so right. I'm such a hypocrite.
Well, I would recommend YouTube. And if you're going to watch anything to start off with, I would go with Scott reading from David Hasselhoff's book.
Oh, yeah.
Golden. When I say delivery is everything, start there.
You're very kind. Thank you. I recommend that too.
Thank you so much, buddy, man. I love you and I appreciate it.